In Southern California, we're surrounded by nature, but beauty sometimes comes at a price. In today's Virtually Rick, we're taking a look at mudslides. And to do that, we have to start here. This is a sadly familiar scene to Californians. This is Thousand Oaks near Los Angeles, where devastating wildfires ripped through the hills, destroying vast areas of brush and woodland, causing hundreds of thousands of residents to flee for their lives. But how does fire lead to mud? Let's get virtual. Come with me and we'll find out. We're going back in time as we leap up into the hills, 2017, above Montecito. And if you look beneath this tree, you'll see there's a beautiful array of shrub and bush that's just perfect for the tinder of a wildfire. And as it breaks out, it burns through the chaparral and it creates a huge layer of debris on the surface, as well as burning at an extraordinary high temperature. And what happens there is it changes the chemical makeup of the soil beneath the tree. So, how does a wildfire create this? January 2018, and Montecito is engulfed by a devastating mudslide that buries homes and lives. What is the connection then between a wildfire and mudslides? Let's head back to the forest to find out. I'm going to simplify this quite a lot here, but the cross-section of soil you look at here, this is what is created by a wildfire. Two layers. This upper layer is a layer of soil and ash, and no vegetation to bind it together at all. And as the wildfire burns, it releases molecules of whatever it's burning, and those are pushed by the heat down through the layers of soil. And as they go further away from the heat, they solidify and create this impervious layer that's represented in orange here. It's a hydrophobic layer, and it's so cool because when the rains came in January in Montecito, they came down thick and fast into this upper layer, and they supersaturated this upper layer here, so much so that the water filled it, and it had nowhere to go because of the hydrophobic layer below, stopping the water from going any further. The result was that when water mixes with soil, of course, it becomes mud, and more rain came, so the layers of mud became thinner and thinner, and because we're up in the hills and gravity takes its effect, this whole layer starts to move, and as it does, it becomes what scientists call a mud flow. It picks up pace and heads down the valley towards Montecito. It becomes a mudslide. So how do we stop a mudslide from happening? There's a rather curious answer. When a wildfire breaks out, what is interesting is it releases a whole bunch of nutrients which are embedded in this upper layer here in the surface. And so if we are to spray a mixture of seeds and fertilizers into this surface area, we'll get super quick vegetation growth. What's good about that is when the rains actually do come again, which they inevitably do, it means that the vegetation itself is absorbing the water into its roots and building a stronger soil system. And when the rain comes down, it even bounces off the leaves themselves and away from that muddy mobile layer that causes a mudslide. So then, there you have it. Mudslides or mud flow can be massively damaging, moving at high speeds across huge distances. How can we prevent disasters like this from happening? Well, it's really a balance of managing our forests while protecting our neighborhoods. And as we Californians know, our relationship with Mother Nature is never going to be easy.